Hello everyone, I'm Gary Martin and today I'm going to be taking part in a Titleist ball fitting. So if you've been watching my channel from the beginning, you'll know I did a what's in the bag quite early on, and I told you guys I was using the Pro V and that nothing would ever get me to change from the Pro V, because I really appreciate the feel and control and the confidence that I have with the Pro V around the green, and some of you might relate to that. So I'm going to be having this ball fitting, one, so that you guys know what actually happens in a ball fitting if you've never had one, and two, just to see what if there is any performance benefits and if I am missing out on anything by not trying a new ball. So this is a Titleist ball fitting. Joe, the fitting agent, I'm not going to tell him what ball I'm using. He might ask that question, but I don't want to tell him. So you guys know I'm using the Pro V, and let's see what ball would I be fitted for, and see what benefits there is. So just before we meet Joe, just get in the comments, guys, have you ever had a ball fitting? And if so, which brand was it by? And have you had multiple ball fittings? Who's the market leader on ball fittings? Because this is a complete new topic to me, and I think it will be to a lot of people as well. So today, guys, we've got Joe, our golf ball product specialist from Titleist, who's going to be fitting me today. Just before we start, Joe, I've just got to mention we haven't got a microphone because James has nicked it.
Yeah,
gone home with my microphone, so I do apologise if the sound's not 100% today. But I've got a ball fitting with you today. I just wondered, for these guys who've not had a ball fitting, what should they be bringing to a ball fitting?
So I think it's important. A lot of golfers look at driver and look at club head speed when fitting a golf ball. You only hit your driver between 10-14 times in a game of golf when you look through the bag. So we want to look at kind of wedge shots into the green, pitching wedge, kind of stock full shots, and look at mid irons, then kind of move into long irons as well. So I'd always say to people, just bring your full bag. But if we go short iron, mid iron, long iron, driver at the end of it, then that's kind of...
I think that has just really answered my worries about a ball fitting, because just walking up there, I was saying that I've never changed from Pro V because I love the feel of the ball. And my perception of ball fitting has always been that it's based on a driver. So this is news to me.
I mean, you look at the standard golfer that shoots 85 in a round of golf on average. 16% of that golfer's game is off the tee. 44% is irons and wedges. And then 40% is off the putter. So at Titleist, and can't speak for anybody else, but we always want to work from the green back to the tee to fit someone into their golf ball. And you mentioned feel. We'll look at feel, flight, and spin rates. And that's the three key factors that we'll look at for any player, whether they're amateur, elite player, senior, junior, mid-aged, male, female. That's all we're looking for.
Well, that's really reassurance to me, and I'm actually looking forward to this now. Did I let the cat out of the bag on what ball I were using?
Yeah, you said probably one.
I told these guys I weren't going to tell you.
But no, we'll look through it. I mean, whether it's the 2019 Pro one, obviously we've got the 21 ball out now, which is a little bit different. So we'll work through the bag and we'll have an unbiased test, and you won't know what you're hitting as well as we're going along. So
brilliant, let's crack on then.
Cool.
So I have warmed up, guys. Joe assures me that this is the best camera angle, but he's not seen my game, so I'm a bit worried for Canon, to be honest. But we're going to give it a go. I will put some down the line shots in as well. That one fell a 10.
Cool. We'll move into mid-iron. Mid-iron, have you got?
I've got a bladed iBlade 7 iron. So after hitting some wedges and some irons, Joe's nearly almost certain about what ball I'm going to be fitted into.
Yeah, majority of changes in golf ball will occur short irons, mid irons, kind of the longer stuff. Everybody's looking for the golf ball to do the same thing, low spin, long distance. It's kind of the short and mid irons where you'll really see the changes. So kind of the shots that we've hit so far has really led us down a path that now when we get to this end, I would change this club to suit the ball, because 95% of fairway metals and drivers now are all adjustable. So if I want to kind of change peak height, I'm going to probably look at loft changes for that player. So that's the route that we.
And actually, that's quite relieving for me, Joe, because actually, and these guys will agree, is I said on the way up, I weren't that fussed about having a ball fitted for my driver, because I'm not that bothered about an extra 5 yards. It was the feel and control and the ball flight that I didn't want to lose. So
and if anybody's interested, we can talk about why a golf ball spins low off the tee and spins high. In your wedges and irons, but we can run through that after we've hit some fairway metals and drivers if you want after.
I think I'm just going to hit one or two with a fairway wood, and then we'll show you the spin rates and how Joe's come to the conclusion.
So landing angle with a wedge, 47.4, anywhere between 45 and 55 is what we want to see. This is with Pro V1, by the way, so good place there with wedge. Average spin, 8,600, so again, really good place there with pitch and wedge. But then obviously moving on into 7-iron. So launch it at 20, between 20 and 21. So on the high end of launch for a 7-iron. 6,500 RPM with 7-iron in Pro V1, really good. And more importantly, that landing angle at 51.3, so between 45 and 55, bang where we want it. And that's really so if you're playing to raised greens, you've got enough angle of descent to stop the ball. But then if you're playing into the wind, it's not peaking too high, spinning too much, that's going to balloon and you're going to lose a lot of distance out of it. We flicked into Pro V1X, as you mentioned. We gained 7 foot worth of peak height. We went to 55.4 degrees worth of angle of descent, so beyond where we want to see it. And then spin rates up at 7,800. So spinning too much, going too high, therefore your carry suffered by around about 8.5 yards. So that's with pretty calm conditions today. So
I suppose that's interesting, because I think if there's anybody who was similar to me on a slightly lower ball flight, then that could have possibly helped them, would it?
Because dimple design, 50% of lift, spin rate the other 50%. So if someone's not spinning it enough, not hitting it high enough, then that extra bit of spin rate is going to help them flight it. And do you know what? Everyone thinks spin gets you less carry. For players like you, it does. But for the other players that don't hit it high enough, it's actually going to gain them carry and stopping power into the green.
That's a really interesting point, that.
So and that's why we have AVX, Pro V1 and Pro V1X in the premium range, so that we can fit all levels of players and all different ball flight players as well.
So what I'm interested to know, being a Yorkshire man, is as I've been fitted into the ball that I'm currently playing, would I still qualify for a couple of sleeves?
Absolutely, mate. I want to get you the ball out there. But on our ball fitting days when we do this at the golf clubs that we go to, if we were fitting on tour, we always want to test on course. We can't spend 2-3 hours with every consumer. So we give you the golf balls to then go and test on the course based on what you want to feel as a player, how you want to see. Look, everyone has a different flight window as well.
And do you know what? I think that's a great point, because there might be a lot of people out there that won't want to buy a dozen Pro Vs off the shelf to test at £45. But if they come on a day like this, and you're fitted into that ball, well, you will be fitting into a premium ball, then you're going to get the chance to test them for free. So it's a win-win. And actually, in all fairness, Joe, I haven't actually tested the brand new ball, so is that a bit different to the 2019 model?
So different core, different casing layer, different cover, different dimple design. It's a whole new Pro V1. The only thing that's kind of remained on it is the name. But I'll give golfers softer feel, lower long game spin, but then that new softer cover will give you more wedge spinning around the green for more control. So win-win there.
So guys, we're going to conclude on that. I'm now reassured that Pro V is the right ball for me. If you're a little bit geeky and you want to see some of these numbers, I'm going to put the shots across the screen from the TrackMan, and I'm going to kindly ask Joe, if you don't mind, just talking us through them numbers for anybody that's really geeky and wants to know a little bit more about, you know, the windows of what's the ideal spin rate or the launch for a 7-iron, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Right, okay, so this is Gary's 7-iron. We can see he's quite quick, he's got a bit of speed, obviously been in the gym. Carry there at 168, launching at 20.8 and spinning at 6,300. We can kind of see that landing angle that we talked about there at 52 degrees. Yeah, we want to see that between 45 and 55. So he's in a really good place there to stop the golf ball on the green, but it's also reaching its optimal trajectory as well. And we can see his height there at 117 foot. Good peak height for stopping power into the green. So with that extra little bit of launch, Gary launches the golf ball quite high in his mid irons. So anyway, if we were looking at 17, 18 degrees worth of launch, then we'd probably want that spin a little bit closer to 7,000. But with him launching it between 20 and 21, anywhere just north of 6,000, iron times 1,000, minus 1,000, if that makes sense, is kind of sufficient. We can see as we move into Pro V1X, not too dissimilar in terms of ball speed, so comparable strike versus strike. We can see that spin rate now. It's gained another 1,400 RPM, and we can kind of see what that's done to his carry. With Pro V1X, his 7-iron is essentially performing like his 8-iron should be doing, hence losing kind of 14 yards off it. See peak height there again, very, very similar, but that landing angle, because of that extra spin, has now gone north of where we need it. But all in all, hits it quite well. Just needs to apply our kind of mid-flying product.
So me and Joe are just going to go for a coffee now, but you know, just again in conclusion, we just hit on a couple of good points there, because it weren't until Joe talked us through the geeky stuff, that I actually realised that luckily I am using the right ball. But if I hadn't have been, I would potentially losing 15 yards of carry, and you know, there will be a lot of people out there that's not in the right ball. So I think, you know, it is very important. You know, I've really gone 360 on this.
Yeah.
Because I was saying that, you know, I weren't interested in a ball fitting because it were all about a driver, and you know, I didn't want to lose feel and control. But actually, you know, there's a lot more to it than that. So I've learned something. I hope you have. And another great point that Joe mentioned, just to finish on, whereas, you know, are you that golfer that moans when you hit a 7-iron 140 and then, you know, later on in your round you hit it 160, but you don't consider that you might have swapped balls, you know, during that round? You're not always using the same style of ball. You know, if you are, maybe you have to have a look at your mirror and, you know, start to use the same ball.
100%.
I think there's a lot to be said for that, especially when Joe's just proven and shown how much difference, you know, between one ball and another ball that there can be. You know, and that's for me, who's got a, you know, consistent club speed, pretty consistent, decent ball striker. You know, so I think there's a lot to be said for just using the same style of ball more than anything, and you know, start to get them consistencies in your bag, and then it might you know, go into your game as well. So we're going to finish on that note, and we'll see you in a couple of days. Bye.
Cheers, guys.